Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. Now I have been tagged by Whelan, SW Studio Productions. He's done a David Bowie tag for 2021 and any excuse for me to do a David Bowie video, I'll take it. So he's actually asked 16 questions, so I'll race through this. I've seen Sean's and Ross Goodall's done one as well, and I hope other people who are Bowie fans will jump on this. So the first question is the first Bowie album I ever heard, and that was Aladdin Sane. My brother had this when it came out in 1973. I didn't listen to it very much, but obviously it was in the background. But I did play Driving Saturday and Jean Genie, the singles, quite a bit from this. So that's actually the first one I've heard. The first Bowie album I ever bought, and it's this copy as well, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and Spiders from Mars, and I bought this in around June or so 1980. My favourite album cover, there's quite a few, but I'm going to actually give it to Aladdin Sane again. There's something about this. I love it's almost white on white as well, because his body is so white looking, and I never knew, and I still don't know what that is there. So it looks like a teardrop of some sort, but I know it's definitely not, or if it is, it's a weird looking teardrop, and I don't want to know what it is. I've had this album for 40 odd years and I still don't know what it is, but I absolutely love that, and I love the back cover as well. It's very difficult to see with the sort of the outline of Bowie, and we all know what the inside cover is like as well, but that would be my favourite album cover, and the lightning bolt of course on his face. Two favourite eras, and the first would be my second favourite, and that again is like the Spiders from Mars era with the full band, Trevor Bolder, Mick Ronson, Mick Woodmansey and Bowie himself, and only 3 albums with those 4 on them are Hunky Dory, Ziggy Stardust and Aladdin Sane. You could nearly take in The Man Who Sold the World, but Trevor Bolder wasn't on that, it was Tony Visconti. Okay, the other favourite era is what I would call the more soulful era, and that's the Diamond Dogs, Young Americans and Station to Station era, although he was branching out a little bit more in this as well, but it still has Golden Years, which is quite similar to Young Americans. Next question, favourite Bowie opener, and I'm going to give it to Station to Station. It's just a fantastic song, 10 minutes long, absolutely brilliant. Favourite closing track, and it's the chant of the ever circling skeletal family taken in with Big Brother. I just think it's amazing. The whole album is amazing, but even on its own the chant is one of the best, is probably the best closing track. Absolutely love it. Favourite song covered by Bowie, and I did a video on his covers and I'm sticking to it, and I'm going to give it to I Can't Explain, the cover he did by The Who. He really slowed it way down, put loads of sax into it. It's just an absolutely brilliant version. Favourite collaboration, and my favourite Bowie collaboration, believe it or not, is the one with Bing Crosby, Peace on Earth, Little Drummer Boy. This has now turned out to be, you know, a Christmas standard for me, and I absolutely love it. Play it every year, and it's my favourite. Favourite from a song from a soundtrack. Now he's had loads of songs and soundtracks, but I'm going to talk about songs he specifically wrote or recorded for soundtracks, and it's hard not to give it to Absolute Beginners, which is one of his best songs of the 80s. But I also want to give a shout out to this one, which I think is nearly as good, and it's When the Wind Blows from 1987. This is a magnificent song as well, and deserved to be a huge hit, but wasn't. Bowie track that doesn't get much love, or people don't talk too much about it. And it's from Young Americans, and it's the song Right, the last song, side one. The vocals in this are amazing. I've mentioned this before. The exchange between the backing singers and Bowie is absolutely amazing, and it was relegated to the B-side of Fame, and I don't understand why. It's one of the highlights of this album. Right, favourite album with Bowie's involvement. It's going to be an old boring one here. I'm going to have to give it to Transformer. I think everybody will say this. It's a magnificent album. I know he co-produced it with Mick Ronson, but I think Mick Ronson himself had more involvement than Bowie himself. The other choice could be The Idiot by Iggy Pop, or What the Hooples, All the Young Dudes, but this is my favourite album of those three. Favourite film with Bowie as an actor? The Man Who Fell to Earth, but it's not brilliant. I have to admit, I think Bowie's a bit of a shit actor, to be honest with you. He's pretty crap. He's not the best actor in the world. He's good on stage doing mime and all that sort of carry on, but put him in front of cameras for a full-length feature film, I don't think he's all that great. The Hunger's not a bad film either, but there's something very wooden about his acting, but it's not his acting that I like about him, is his music. Favourite Bowie influence? Now, loads of people have influenced him, but the one I'm going to go with is actually the Kinks, because his first album is... The Kinks had a real influence on his first album with songs like Uncle Arthur, Love You Till Tuesday and so forth, and this is the Kinks' Face to Face. And he did cover them on his Pin-Ups album, and then he did cover them again in 2003 when he did Waterloo Sunset. So the easy answer is the Velvet Underground, which I love, but I prefer the Kinks to the Velvet Underground, so they get it. Favourite Bowie look? Late 74 for me, and there's a couple of examples. This is the thing about, this is the Diamond Dogs single. This is the only thing that I'm not 100% happy with Diamond Dogs, was the cover, that he kept the Ziggy look. Yes, I know whenever Rebel Rebel was released he still had that Ziggy look, but when the Diamond Dogs single itself was released he had cut his hair, and I would have preferred the cover to have been something like that, or even like that there. It's also a little bit the same with Low. Low has got a great album cover, but the actual cover of the album is a year out of date, and he didn't look like that whenever he was promoting the album, which that's why I'm not 100% convinced on the Low cover. To use the Man Who Fell to Earth stills twice, I just think no, he should have even done the same pose, but with how he looked at that time. So that late 74 is my favourite look for Bowie. If you have seen him live, what is the best concert? Well, I've seen him live twice, and there's Ticket for 1983, the Serious Moonlight Tour in Edinburgh, Scotland, and there's a stub for the 1987 Glass Spider Tour in Shane Castle in Dublin, and by far this was the best, even though there was no screens at that time, so he was the size of a peanut. But it was a fantastic set, and the problem with the Glass Spider set was it was just a big theatrical show, which would have worked if it had been dark, but it was light outside, so the actual stage lighting didn't have much effect, which is a shame. But it wasn't a bad show, but he really did lean heavily on the Never Let Me Down material, and some of the stuff that he did play, like the older stuff, he sort of updated the sound of it. So he did all the Madmen from The Man Who Sold the World, but it didn't really sound like all the Madmen. It had an 80s sound to it. Hell, it was the 1980s, so I suppose that's why. I did get a chance, or actually had a ticket to see him in mid-90s on the Outside tour, but I had started a new job and I couldn't get time off, and I had to be in work for something like 4 o'clock in the morning. It was peak production, and I just couldn't get the time off, so I think in a bad temper I tore the ticket up and threw it out because nobody else would want it. and apparently that concert he really went heavily on the Outside album, which I was still struggling to get into at the time, so it didn't really bother me as much. Okay, what release am I looking forward to, last question, in 2021? Well, it's happened. The one I was looking forward to is this single, and it's him doing Bob Dylan's Trying to Get to Heaven, which I think was done around 1998 or so, and doing Mother, John Lennon's Mother, which is around 1997. I've had digital copies of this. They haven't been great quality, so to get them in really good quality is amazing. I love the Trying to Get to Heaven version. I'm not keen on him doing Mother. His voice is too deep in it, and it's just I don't think he does a really good job of Mother, to be honest with you, but Trying to Get to Heaven is excellent. Okay, so that's the Bowie tag for Sean. If any other people would like to have a go at this, please do, because I just love watching these. So I'll leave a link to Sean's channel below, and please subscribe to him. He's a good guy, a young fella, so it's really good to see such a young fella into David Bowie. Okay, that's me for now, and hope to have another video quite soon. All the best. Bye bye.